What's up, guys? We are the Shotcallers,
Hey,
and we are back. It's gonna be a little bit different. I'm saying the intro now, not this guy Rich. I am Robin. I'm here with. I'll let you
Rich.
guys introduce Kyle.
What's up, guys?
And Kyle right here.
So today we only had one game. We had the Brooklyn Nets at the Milwaukee Bucks, Game 6. Brooklyn was trying to close it out. Milwaukee was trying to keep it up. But before I get into that, I'm gonna let you guys know where we can find us. So Kyle, where can they find us on social media?
You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Shotcallers Show right there, like it says on the screen.
Yeah, right here where
Uh,
it says.
Obviously, you'll be seeing this on YouTube more than likely, or you'll be seeing this on our multitude of uh, podcast platforms like Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Breaker, and Pocket Casts.
Amazing. That was perfect.
I know
You've
I,
been
I did
rehearsing.
much better. Yeah, it's better
And
that
if you
time.
guys can leave a rating and review on the Apple Podcast app, the main curator for podcasts that gets distributed everywhere else, that does wonders for the show. Lets new listeners find us and figure out what we're all about. Hopefully, they'll love it just as much as you guys do. Thanks for tuning in.
Cool. I guess we'll get into a quick little recap. So, Rich, I'll give it to you.
Dude,
Start it off.
the Bucks went guns blazing, like straight to the rim. I got it right here in my notes, which is what I say every episode. Everything's in my notes. But Brook Lopez with the drive, Giannis with the drive and a score. Giannis missed a fadeaway early, and then everything else seemed like every other basket was going to the rim. Middleton was driving to the rim. The Nets had some pretty bad luck early on. Some brick threes. KD had it going for the most part, but besides him, not a lot of scoring from guys like Joe Harris and company. And then as we got into the second quarter, third quarter onward, some other guys kind of got in the mix. James Harden really got it going, even though he seemed pretty hobbled throughout the game. He still got to the skill positions where he didn't need to use his athleticism to score until we kind of know how the ending went. Because we got onto this podcast a little bit earlier than normal. How did the rest of the game go after the contested first quarter?
So the second quarter and the third quarter were a lot different than or they were kind of the same as Game 5, to where Milwaukee would have a good run, and then Brooklyn would kind of claw their way back in. But this time, Milwaukee extended the lead. For example, at the end of the third quarter, Boston, I think they got it within 5, and then Chris Middleton went on a 6-0 run to close out that quarter, which I think was really strong. He scored 38 today, but I think that he stepped up in a big way where a lot of people were waiting for somebody to help Giannis and keep Giannis up the free throw line so the games go quicker, because not everybody can stay up that late every day. And then in the fourth quarter, it was really just Brooklyn trying to make one last run, but they couldn't, and they threw in the white flag. A bunch of no-name people, Cabaret or Cabaret, whatever it is, however you say it, he came in the game. Yeah, it's a lot different than Game 5 for sure, because Milwaukee did not choke a lead, which is a big thing in these playoffs, is choking. So I guess I'll give it to Kyle. Kyle, what is your takeaways? I guess we'll start with the Bucks.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you on all that. Like the previous games, the problem with the Bucks is like, obviously they would jump out to a lead, but then like even Game 5, Game 4, but they would come. The Brooklyn Nets would come right back like the next quarter or the next couple of minutes, and like they wouldn't be able to hold the lead for very long. This game that they were able to hold the lead for obviously the entire game, but whenever Brooklyn made their runs, they were able to slow it down. And going back to Chris Middleton, like you said, like did when he came alive and he had that 6-0 run, that's really what we've been missing from Chris Middleton. It's like, he can score at times, and then he can rebound, play defense, get other guys involved at times. But this was really important because he stepped up in a big moment to stop Brooklyn's run. And that says a lot for his growth. And he had a career playoff high, I believe, in 38 points, and the dude was getting everything. Like 2 or 3 times he was getting fouled off of a 3-point attempts,
Yep.
which is huge. Like I think the first one it was a 4-point play, which is pretty cool to see. Um, so
Yeah, man,
yeah,
he was sharp shooting,
yeah,
going vertical, using his strength to get the ball up at the rim. Like he's someone that like I just feel as though watching him over the years, he is good at answering the opponent's runs that are trying to keep the game close and kind of keep a 5-10 point cushion like he did this game. When you ask him to try to bring your team back from down 10, down 12, that's where it seems like he can fall
yeah.
short a lot of the time because in those circumstances, maybe the defense is swarming him and it can be kind of difficult for him to create off the dribble for himself, even though he's great at rising up and great at using his strength to create some separation. It's so often that you see him kind of front running and not in a bad way. He just seems to be best with the lead and keeping the lead than it is to get your team back. And a lot of that is circumstance. Like it's hard to bring back a team from down 10, down 15 when your co-star is Giannis that doesn't always want to go to the free throw line and earn the points from the stripe with mixed success even in this game. But maybe that kind of contributes to what I'm correlating here with Chris Middleton.
Yeah, and to give some quick stats real quick, Chris Middleton had 38 points, 10 boards, and 5 assists. Giannis also had a really good game. He had 30 points and 17 rebounds. And then Drew Holiday finally stepped up to what we were expecting of him. He had 21 points, 5 assists, 4 steals, and 8 boards. So I feel like all the big players that Milwaukee needs to step up played big. PJ Tucker only had 3 points, but he had a plus 30 plus minus. I mean, his defense on KD, yeah, you're not going to shut KD down, but to use that much effort and energy and, making it tough for KD, especially coming off a 48-minute game just the other night, it's going to have some fatigue on him. I guess we'll go to the Nets. What's quick reactions for the Nets for you guys, Kyle?
Dude.
Or Rich?
Yeah, man. I was going to say Joe Harris, like Drew Holiday and Joe Harris both had relatively rough offensive games. They were getting their shots up for sure, but Brook Lopez was obliterating Joe Harris at the rim when he was driving.
Yeah.
Harris had so many things that were just clinking in and out, and he finally, got the dam to burst in the fourth quarter when he was like, I got this. He gets out. He's like exasperated. He yells out towards the Brooklyn bench, like yes. And like Doris Burke had a quote I think for Steve Nash saying, what are you saying to Joe Harris during these times? He's like, I'm leaving him alone. I trust him. He's gonna shoot his way out of this, and he did at the end, but it was too little, too late. But
yeah,
just to compare the two, like Drew Holiday was handling the ball, getting to the rim, and just like nothing was going for him in games like 2 and 3 in the series. When he had nothing going, he was super pass happy. He wanted to get somebody that was going, having an efficient night for the line, and it seemed like he really wanted to shoot his way through it. I know you just said the Nets, but I had to go to Drew Holiday because I didn't get to say my piece on him. But as far as the rest of the Nets go, James Harden, like that dude is obviously hampered. If you didn't watch the game tonight, I do have an example of James Harden lacking explosion. Did you guys catch that one when he got that steal?
The fast break, yeah.
Let me pull that up for you guys right now, just so everyone can see. Here it comes. I believe it's this one here. Boom. Here he comes. Gets a steal. No Jets. He says, never mind. I'm going to dribble back here in the backcourt. And they ended up setting up a good shot.
Yeah.
For James Harden.
Or transition three. He stopped dead in his tracks almost. That's self-protection right there. That's a guy who wants to play 45 minutes and knows if he tests that hamstring, that may not happen.
Blake Griffin doing it for him, Doris, with the three. And a time.
Definitely you could see him a little hobbled, especially not making that decision to drive, get contact, because he was going to get fouled if he drove. There was already a guy ahead of him, so that was going to be a foul, but maybe it's something that he's seen with Anthony Davis or whatnot, saying if he plays a little bit smarter, he can stay the whole game, especially because they're going to need him, especially for a Game 7, which is, I believe, on Saturday most likely. They're going to need him. If they don't have him, it's going to be a real tough time, especially if he further injures that injury, then he might even miss a couple of games in the next series.
I mean, like it's just so crazy. Like soft tissue injuries, like I haven't had a ton of them in my life, but there have been times where I'm doing lunges at the gym and you kind of feel the tightness on set and it's immediately scary. You're like, oh shit, I need to literally pull back and not move for a while before that happens. And if you go a little too far in a sudden movement, like he's literally moving quickly and he's like, okay, I got to be much more slow because I don't want to accidentally set
Yeah.
off this hamstring. So, but I mean, you read out his line earlier, I believe. That was an efficient night, 5 for 9. Not a lot of shots, but he made pretty good decisions every step of the way. Tried to draw his trademark, like 3-point free throw attempts, or 3-point foul drawing attempts for 3 free throws a couple of times. He had one successful one, a couple that didn't go as his way. But besides the Nets side, what do you guys think about the fact that they are not playing almost any bench players any minutes in this Bucks series on the Bucks side? Bryn Forbes had like what? He had
Like
11 minutes played. They went 7 deep.
But I want to say like 5 of those minutes was in the fourth quarter in dead time.
Yeah. Yeah, the garbage time.
Yeah, I had a note on him. He made a dribble pull up off of pick and roll on Blake Griffin. I was like, oh, that's a good shot for him. He created something off the dribble. Like maybe he can get hot, but
Yeah, I was like, is he gonna get going? Who knows?
Yeah.
In the second quarter, I had it 3 bench shots total,
Yeah,
3 bench points. Only 2 guys had come off the bench at that point. No Bobby Portis, who I think is quite useful in spurts, 10 minutes, 12 minutes a game. And besides that, I think the free throw or the fast break disparity is kind of what saved it when the bench wasn't going for him. They couldn't get Jeff Green going on the Nets side. At one point, it was 13-2 as far as fast break points go in the Bucks' favor. So that was definitely a big swinger during the competitive portion of this game.
Kyle, what'd you think about the Nets' performance this game?
I mean, what really can you say? Like, I feel like from both teams, like you're missing out on a lot. Like both teams could be better. Obviously, like y'all were saying, James Harden isn't definitely not 100%. He's not driving to the basket at all. Like he's really sticking to the perimeter. So he's not getting all the foul attempts that he should, drawing fouls on Bucks players, forcing them to use the bench. Also, he doesn't have that explosion, like just getting to the basket and like we saw on that fast break. And then also, you have Joe Harris not hitting shots, even though he wasn't hitting threes. Like there's quite a few times when he was driving or off a cut to the basket, like either like KD or somebody will find him, and he had a couple layups like that. So he kept himself in the game, kind of, and in the rhythm like that a little bit. But just like they could be like throughout the regular season. It's so weird to see him not hit those threes, even though he was like super efficient during the regular season. Like, so it's really weird to see that, and they would be like a lot better if he was just hitting his threes. And
what do you think happened to Jeff Green? Kyle, he had 27 points last game. Uncle Jeff.
Yeah, no,
I was gonna.
I was gonna say that too. Like, also Jeff Green could be better. Giannis was attacking him on when he was on defense too. So
yes, that's what I was gonna say. Putting these dudes in foul trouble.
Yeah,
like Giannis did not seem afraid to go to the line whatsoever. He only had a couple of pull-up 2s and 3s, less than his normal diet. What were you saying, Kyle?
I don't think he had any 3s this game.
No, no 3 attempts, no 3-point attempts.
Nice.
Yeah,
which I love to see.
But that brings me to my next point is that even though Giannis, he didn't have a crazy game, but like I really like the decisions that he made during this game. Like a lot of times, he would do like the pullback to the 3-point line, getting ready to drive, and then he would drive, and then instead of taking the dumb like layup that ends up in a jump ball, or he loses the ball, or whatever happens. A lot of the times I noticed that he would like pass it out. Yeah, he would hit the guy on the perimeter or whatever, and those were a lot better looks than what he was getting in the previous games. So I think that's good. He was also not taking any threes. He took a couple of mid rangers, but he got I know he got one of them to go in like the first half, I believe. So those are decent looks. He had one in like the third quarter against he pulled up for mid range against Landry Shamet of all people. Like when he was on an island, I have in my notes like you're on an island, like there's no help, like you need to be taking that dude. Like, but other than that, his decision making has improved a lot, and I feel like that's another critical reason why they were able to hold on to this lead.
Yeah, I think Giannis gets in his head a little bit whenever like somebody makes a big shot on the other team, like Durant hits a clutch three, something like that. He seems to want to answer the shot, the way that you dream about as a kid. He's like, okay, time to take my two, clank, But when he's going downhill where guys cannot stop him, like it's impossible. He's getting fouls up on everybody. And Nick Claxton, unfortunately, got a foul immediately when he got in the game. Like, get these guys in foul trouble. They're gonna have to rotate, and you get their rotations out of whack. And I thought that was really successful for the Bucks tonight. But yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then not only that, the Bucks were able to force a lot of turnovers, or
the Nets turned it over like crazy in the first quarter. Yeah, live ball going downhill. That goes hand in hand with that fast break stat that I had. So turnovers, the Nets had 16 tonight to the Bucks 13. So it doesn't seem like a lot, but they definitely had more fast break points off those turnovers.
Yeah, and that's one of the advantages Milwaukee needs to play into. Like those when you get Giannis in open court, that's literally like easy buckets like all the time. So and that's one of his strengths. That's how he gets his points. That's how he gets open looks. Whether it be him or Drew or Middleton, whoever it is, like they have a clear advantage when they're attacking the fast break.
And they were just running. Like, even if you run and you don't score a fast break point, you're gonna get to the free throw line. You're gonna get fouled. They shot 28 free throws compared to Brooklyn's 14. Brooklyn only made 8. Milwaukee made 23, and that's including Giannis's 4 missed ones as well. So just running fast paced, especially when you know that somebody on the other team is going to be injured. And James Harden, run, play aggressive, be in the paint, be active. I think that's something they did, and they kept it going in the third quarter into the fourth, which was strong because Game 5, near that end of the third quarter, is when Brooklyn made that big run. And for them not to choke this lead, if they choke this lead, this franchise is going to look different next season. I'll tell you that right now. It was going to look different.
You're talking about the Milwaukee Bucks?
If they choke this lead, it was going to look different. But they kept it going. It's going to set up a good Game 7. We'll see if James Harden gets a little bit healthier, of course. But I don't think Brooklyn stands a good chance if they have to rely on the role players. Obviously, Joe Harris, he's going to step up. Hopefully. I mean, he had a good game today compared to his other games. James Harden might get a little bit healthier, but depending on this rotation, it's going to have to go through KD, obviously. You know what he's going to do. But James Harden has to be somewhat better, which is kind of hard to critique him because he's playing hurt. But if he's out there, he's taking up a spot. So he has to do a little bit more than what he's doing already.
Well, what makes me kind of curious as to why they played Landry Shamet so he can space the floor from 3. He can shoot threes. It's in his repertoire. But when you see them go to Bruce Brown and Mike James pick and roll, no stars are in this action, and they're piecing up Brook Lopez, who cannot keep up with Bruce Brown kind of getting floaters off in the paint. Bruce Brown only had 3 minutes in this game, or Mike James only had 3 minutes in this game. Why not go back to that when you know that Kevin Durant is gassed? It's like they want to close it out, so you got to put it in your star's hands. Who you trust, Kevin Durant, no doubt. But when he just played 48 minutes all of the first quarter, and he's obviously a little bit gassed, I wonder why we didn't see that look from Steve Nash, who is not afraid to experiment. I wonder if we're going to see something a little bit different in Game 7. I do expect that adjustment to come through, and I don't think that the Bucks, as far as talking forward to Game 7, are going to get away with this exact same lineup again. Pat Connaughton gave them nothing. They're going to need something from a new contributor. Bryn Forbes had that one make on that 2-point shot, and I feel like Bobby Portis is going to get in there. Is kind of where I'm leaning. That's
what I was going to say next to y'all. Are y'all surprised we don't see more of him, especially the way that KD is kind of killing them on that high screen and roll, especially PJ Tucker. If he switches when Brook Lopez is on KD, he's going to go right by him. Even if they don't switch and he has to fight over the screen, KD has open daylight to get off a jump shot. So I'm surprised we haven't seen Bobby Portis to stretch that defense out because he is a little bit faster than not a little bit. He's a lot faster than Brook Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
Are y'all surprised we haven't seen more of him?
I am surprised, and that switching that you mentioned ended up with the PJ Tucker steal when PJ got a couple of like consecutive back-to-back turnovers a couple of different times in the game, which was terrific. But people want to slander like Brook Lopez as far as his defensive, and of course he's a big lumbering giant. He can't slide his feet super well, especially not compared to Kevin Durant. But he is anchoring a great defense and is making it like what's the opposite of a black hole, like at the rim? Like things aren't going to the basket. They're not going in. They're being repelled. It's like negative magnetism or whatever you say. But yeah, just to answer your question directly, Bobby Portis with his like really intense eyes. Like his eyes are always like this.
Yeah. His eyes are a little beady.
All the time. Oh, that's what it is. He's beady-eyed. Yeah. But the intensity, like I like it. And I think he's going to be back. I have been surprised thus far. But it's Coach Bud, man. You never know what the hell is going to happen with that dude.
What do you think, Kyle?
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I wanted to get to those points too. Like, we critiqued the Nets bench, but also, you got to look at Pat Connaughton, Bryn Forbes, Bobby Portis. Like those guys got to get something going. Obviously, Bobby Portis didn't play this game, but you would like to see him in the rotation a little bit more often because he's not that bad, and he plays solid defense. He can space the floor for you, like all that types of good stuff. So, kind of weird to not see him in the game. But well, also going back to James Harden, like not only is he a liability like offensively when he's not, go to the rim and get into his full repertoire, but also on defense, like he's not going to be able to keep guys in front of him as well, because of that same injury. So that's also kind of a question mark. This game 7 really feels like, I mean, Milwaukee seems like the more solid team. Like obviously James Harden is hurt, so it's pretty much just KD and the other guys surrounding him. But like we saw in that game 5, they were able to come back. James Harden didn't even play well the game before. It was like
it was the other guys.
Yeah. Like it was Jeff Green and KD, and and that was mostly it. And I guess it's also on the Bucks, collapsing on offense, not being able to score a bucket. But it's like this game 7, I feel like is gonna be tough to call. Who do y'all think is gonna win game 7?
I think put us on the spot.
Yeah. Well, I guess our prediction is officially going to go to the Bucks. I feel like with a 1-day turnaround and the way that the Nets look like they're almost running out of steam, and credit to them at how close they're able to make it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to officially predict the Bucks on the spot. But what I was going to say before you even asked that question was, if the Nets end up closing out the series and winning, being favored at with their mild home court advantage, it's going to be a game where you're like, all right, Kevin Durant had like 32 points. James Harden put in 20 plus, and then it's like, oh, and we got 62 points from Bruce Brown. Like it's gonna be something like that. One of the role players is gonna be going off. Yeah, 62, bro.
Is your ball prediction?
He's gonna put a little card up, 62, and you have that little picture next to him and Wilt. But yeah, him, Joe Harris might open up. It's gonna be like a role player, the Joe Harris game. Yeah, Jeff Green.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. And so like Jeff Green comes back and like I guess he steals all Bruce Brown's minutes because Bruce Brown only played like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, he had one personal foul, no personal fouls. So kind of curious. But we'll see what happens. What about you, Robin? Who is your prediction?
It's like as much as I want to pick the Bucks, I just don't trust them. I just do not trust. There's something about him that I'm just like, they're going to do something. I'm going with the Bucks. I want Giannis to get this win.
Mm-hmm.
But I just hope they play a close game the whole way through so they don't get disappointed and choke a lead, because I really thought they were going to choke this lead today. Like, no doubt. I was like, here it goes, Atlanta 3.0. Like, everyone's out here choking, coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with the Bucks. I think it's going to be a big game from Giannis. I think Middleton is going to keep it going. I think he finally found a way to attack this team. I mean, 11 for 16 from the field, 5 for 8 from 3, and 11 for 12 from the line. 5 assists, 5 steals. I think he's finally getting it going. I think he knows that. I mean, this was a closeout game, but Game 7, I think he knows he's got to perform the exact same way. Giannis is going to do his thing, obviously. But I think Drew Holiday is going to have a more efficient game. I don't think he's had a game so far this series which has been high scoring and efficient. I mean, he dropped 20 plus today, but I don't think you're going to get a 0 for 5 from Connaughton. I think PJ Tucker would actually knock down a corner 3 like he was doing in Houston.
He might do one. Like, you're right.
Yeah, he was 1 for 5 today. Hopefully he goes 2 for 5, the next Game 7. And then Brook Lopez is going to do his thing. I just think that Milwaukee is a more complete team and they don't have to rely on 1 to 2 people to score as much as Brooklyn does.
So did you predict the Nets or the Bucks?
This is exactly why I'm fit for TV. You guys don't know. Go ahead. No, I picked the Bucks. As much as I hate my pick.
And Kyle, what was yours?
I really want to say the Bucks too. Like I've seen tweets that were saying like this series should be over already. Like Milwaukee should have closed out Game 5 and they closed out this game. When they had a huge lead or a solid lead. I mean, yeah, okay. I'm gonna go with the Bucks, but it's just like it's just tough because Brooklyn has so many like question marks and like X factors that can just turn up and get you a win like by themselves. Like if Joe Harris shows out one day, or Jeff Green shows out again, maybe Blake Griffin gives you a good game. Like who knows? And
this team is not like a bunch of scrubs. Like it's not like Kevin Durant and the G Leaguers or the D Leaguers. Like all throughout the season, you can go to NBA media, and whenever you see a Nets article or somebody talking about the Nets on a podcast, it's like, wow, look at the development of this Brooklyn Nets team, and then you add James Harden on top of everything. Oh my God! Or they'll be like, can you believe that the Nets stole Bruce Brown from the Pistons for nothing? Like these additions cannot be considered steals during the regular season, and when they're not winning, you can say, "Oh man, they're all bums." It's like when LeBron lost in that sweep in 2007 to the Spurs, when right before that series, everyone said the King finally gets the help that he needs, and then they lose. These are some trash. Like it's not. You can't have it both ways. They are either good or they're not, and they're good even if they're not showing up necessarily. Sometimes you need multiple years of reps to get those nerves out from under your belt. Just ask Pat Connaughton. He's in year like fucking 5, and it's still not quite done.
He did shoot 0 for 5.
Who do you guys have for your MVP of this one?
You go ahead, Kyle.
I think it's pretty safe to say, I'm a pretty solid Chris Middleton fan at this point. So
all right, Robin, are you also Kyle is the most wishy-washy dude
him at the beginning of the season throughout.
Dude, I was
the last
being
round of
critical
playoffs.
on him. I was being critical. There's the difference.
You're a big fan.
You know that I was not trashing him. I was being critical. I even said it during that episode. Okay. All right, so don't come for me. This is how this episode is going to turn out. You guys, we're going to go to 76ers Hawks, and then y'all are going to come for me.
We have the receipts, Kyle.
I know. I have the receipts too.
Are we, real quick, are we up or down on the money soundbite whenever Chris Middleton scores a 2? Are we liking this?
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wondering.
I guess for my MVP, real quick, it would be as much as Chris Middleton had a really, really good game, and I love PJ Tucker for the effort he put in. I'd have to go with Giannis because I think no person was under more pressure than Giannis was in this whole game. After choking that Game 5 lead to getting closed out on your home court for Game 6, I think Giannis, if he lost this, not his legacy would have been affected because he's still really young, but after the flashes of like his old like playoff failures of the last couple of seasons, I think this one was going to be like the icing on the cake on it. You know how the media and fans and other teams, when you have when you're young and you don't have success and you choke a lot in the playoffs or you blow leads or you can't get past a certain stage, it gets to you. So I think this was big for Giannis, and we'll see how he comes in Game 7 if he comes in attack mode like he did tonight and in Game 5 in the first half.
Richard, who you got?
Oh, it's pretty simple. I got Chris Middleton.
Okay.
You already talked it all up, but what were you saying, Cole?
No, I was just gonna support Robin's pick. I'm like, yeah, it's really critical. I mean, Giannis played a critical part. Like, it's not only him scoring, but like I was saying earlier, the decision making, like not being like he's a catalyst, but then also he can be a liability at times, like turning the ball over and just making bad decisions. Just like it feels like at times he's like just banging his head against the wall, like driving so many times, or just like settling for jump shots against for no reason. So when he's good and he's not being a liability, like that's.
Did you guys see that fucking monster putback dunk he had in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, that's
dude. I could not believe they didn't replay that.
Yeah,
I wish I had it right now.
Yeah.
Oh, but sorry to derail, but when I asked y'all if y'all were up or down on the music, I had a couple more up or down questions for you guys, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
All right. So up or down? Are we up or down? Tell me. We all know that Kevin Durant has kind of a loose, crossover side-to-side motion where he kind of brings the ball a little bit like this. Some might call that a carry. Tell me, is this a carry? Up or down?
I'll be honest. Like when I saw that live, I thought like Drew like tipped it, but it's definitely clear now that like he kind of he definitely just lost the ball.
That's definitely a carry.
Yeah.
NBA players carry.
Oh my God, it was amazing defense, good defense, better offense.
Mark Jackson.
There goes that man.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the first one. So y'all are up on this being a carry, but you don't approve. It should be called a carry.
Yes.
Probably.
But that would rob us of that beautiful shot making. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All right. This is my last one. Are you up or down?
Wait, did you think that was a carry?
Oh, in the moment I was like, oh, that's like a violation of some kind. Is what I thought. I'm not a referee or anything, but also, so everyone's giving Giannis shit about his free throws, and I'm kind of starting to see how the referees see it. If they wanted it to be called a 10-second violation every time, they would turn the shot clock on, right? We said that last week. But because we had the Bucks last week too, I guess the Bucks only play on Thursdays. But I think it's more of a delay of game sort of interaction in their minds. They're saying, okay, we're getting in the way of the flow of the game. So are you up or down on long free throw routines like this one? So if you guys are listening on audio only after the fact, we got Giannis. He's kind of pantomiming. He's visualizing the shot going through the basket. The ref has the ball. He's miming, dribbling. He's doing it again. He's looking to the side.
Giannis.
Chris, are we good? Okay, he gets the ball now. All right, we got Nets fans. We're panning over to Nets fans. They're counting dribble. 6 dribble. I said 5 last week. And he shoots it. Oh, and it's a clank, unfortunately. But that was a 30-second long clip. And before I even say what I'm gonna say, what do you guys say about this?
I thought it
the fact that his release is so slow during that 12-second actual shooting motion, they don't know when to enter the lane. He's like baiting them into lane violations. So I'm down. Giannis, we gotta fix this shit.
Yeah.
You ever seen Dennis Rodman shoot a free throw?
He did it, and Giannis' first couple of seasons, he didn't take this long. He changed his routine recently.
Correct. He had a 70% free throw shooting like 2 seasons straight. All right, this is how Dennis Rodman shot the free throw. Kyle, please pantomime passing me the ball. That's it. That's how fast it was. He just shot that shit. What was his percentage? I don't know, but he didn't want to spend a lot of time on the line. I'll tell you that much.
Well, yeah, we have Michael Jordan on your team. I bet you don't.
All right, but yeah, that's all I got on that. Oh, I got one more up or down, and this one is courtesy of Kyle. He sent me this wonderful tweet, and I believe he retweeted it through the Shotcallers Twitter account. So please follow us on Twitter at Shotcallers Show, Instagram at Shotcallers Show. I want to get y'all's opinions on this. Here it comes. We have a tweet from Kirk Goldsberry, an analytics guru for ESPN. Used to be a Spurs front office executive in San Antonio, of course, saying top Durant defenders, minimum 50 field goal attempts defended in the last 8 years. PJ Tucker is on this list.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the list, Tristan Thompson. This is a Tristan Thompson hit tweet. And then the number one defender as far as Durant's field goal percentage is Giannis Antetokounmpo. I will give the caveat for those that maybe don't watch the NBA quite so often. Durant and Giannis have been on opposite, sides of the conference every year, except for opposite conferences every year, except for this year. So the times that he actually plays Giannis, I know it's a minimum 50 field goal attempts defended. They only play once a year, or twice a year. Sorry, once in Durant's Western Conference team, whether it be Oklahoma City or Golden State, versus Giannis in Milwaukee. So a lot of these other defenders have a lot more attempts defended between them. But do you think this guy advocating that, for Giannis being maybe the primary defender in some matchups or more often holds some water? Should this be the way that they change their scheme up to defend Kevin Durant? Kyle, you have the floor.
Yeah. Shout out to this guy, Kirk Goldberry. Like I really like his page, like his Twitter and his Instagram. Like he's always coming out with like cool like efficiency like diagrams and stuff, and I think it's really cool to look.
I have his book. I'll let you borrow it, Kyle. It's called Sprawl Ball, where he analyzes kind of the way that trends happen in the NBA, 3-point shooting, and things that can be done to enhance the 2-point side of the game. Like widening the paint so that centers have more room to operate, things like that. So it's definitely worth a read. I'll send that to you.
But I think this does hold some water, just because like Milwaukee's defensive scheme at times, like sometimes they're like switching like every single action. Like as you saw in this game, like you had Drew Holiday, like you had KD posting up on Drew Holiday like 3 times in a row, like 3 consecutive possessions. And then there's been other times like KD will switch onto off, or like PJ Tucker will switch off KD to like Chris Middleton guard him. And so I'm just thinking, like, if they switch so much and that's how their defense works, and they're not switching, when Brook Lopez is involved, obviously, or Pat Connaughton or whatever. But when they're going with all of those guys, like, you should be okay with letting Giannis like guard like KD at times. Like you shouldn't be like telling Giannis like not to guard or not to switch on to KD or stuff like that, because there's been like so many times when it's like they don't even allow like Giannis to stay on KD. So I mean, it's just kind of weird, and I think they should at least like attempt it a little more often.
Robin, are you with Kyle, or do you have a differing opinion?
I am 100% with Kyle. I want to see Giannis versus KD. I mean, it's been hyped up. I remember back when the NBA, your star player would guard your star player if they were the same positions. Yeah. Well, technically, somewhat same positions, because it seems like Giannis plays power forward now. But I would love to see Giannis guard KD, as long as, it seems like now in the NBA, a lot of players either have to play really good defense and they can't play offense as well, or they can stick to offense and then guard like a Jeff Green or a Joe Harris, which it seems like Giannis has been doing. But I would love to see him do it on both sides of the floor, like how Kawhi does it, especially in Game 7, guard KD and then go out and still drop 30. I would love to see that.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna dissent. I'm not afraid to roast Coach Bud when I think he's wrong. I think you guys have seen that during the course of this series. I think it just goes, and as much as I want to see it too, I want to see that. I'm salivating for stars on stars. I love when Kawhi Leonard picked up Luka Doncic despite the outcome of that series, if you're a Dallas fan. Things like that, they're amazing. When Giannis blocked Kevin Durant's shot during this season, that was great to see. The Nets still won that game. I don't know if everyone knows about the outcome, but as far as their scheme goes, Giannis, Robin, not Giannis, already brought it up on this very podcast. He said the Nets run a high pick and roll quite often, and to combat that, Brook Lopez is dropping in coverage, meaning he's more towards the paint, walling off drives and preventing dribble penetration or passes to cutters in the lane. And in comparison from the Heat series to this series, Giannis is guarding Durant where he doesn't quite have the foot speed to get all the way around the screen and contest Durant's open 3-point shot if he's going to go underneath. Kevin Durant can shoot over anyone. So you're given a 40% 3-point shooter, the most prolific scorer of a generation, a shot that way. And then if he goes over the screen, then you're with Brook Lopez's drop coverage, you're just giving him a mid-range shot, which we know he can do with nobody in his face. So he definitely can do it we can do it with people in his face. He definitely can do it with no one in his face. So I think it's just a slippery slope where Giannis's number one strength is, help defense, helping off those guys like Joe Harris and Bruce Brown. So as much as I want to see it, I feel like Coach Bud has made the right choice in this particular circumstance. But I'm definitely not an NBA coach. I could be wrong. If you're listening to this after the fact or during the show live, please comment in the comments. Let us know who you think is right. We'll put up a poll on Twitter that corresponds with this tweet here, and see what the pulse of the nation thinks.
Now, as much as I would love to see Giannis guard KD, I would also love to have him in the paint. Like today, they should have a stat for how many shots you alter, you force people to miss. Because I feel like Rudy Gobert does a really good job at that, as much as I don't like that guy. And
the
also
bias is on the table.
I just don't like him. I don't know. But Giannis does that so well to where he's too valuable to go have guard KD, especially when you already have like a PJ Tucker and you can switch it up with a Drew Holiday. It's nice to have a Giannis in the paint, just in case he does blow by them. You have Giannis guarding your paint with Brook Lopez if he's in, which is, it's kind of a bonus to have. So as much as my selfish NBA fandom wants to see Giannis guard KD, it might be smarter for him to not guard KD and guard the paint.
How wise, Robin.
They call me anti-Shaq.
That's actually a good Twitter handle. You should actually try to see if that's available.
Anti-Shaq.
What's up, Kyle?
No, I was gonna say I think Giannis block KD because the Bucks and the Nets they played a back-to-back at the end of the regular season.
I mentioned this when I was the last talking. I said that Giannis blocked Durant, and then the Nets won the game.
I was gonna say I thought the Bucks won both those games.
I feel like the Nets.
No, the Nets won one game.
No, I thought. I'm
pulling it up, Kyle.
Yeah, pull it up.
Pull up the receipts.
Yeah, pull it up, because I remember that moment. I remember it.
I mean, that's the regular season though. The playoffs is a whole lot different.
And then not only that, I mean, during that game, Kyrie was playing and Jeff Green and Harden were out. So obviously, they weren't 100%, but.
They haven't been 100% all year, though. You can't really use that as an excuse anymore with the Nets.
Speaking of not being 100%, where do you guys stand? Not to take us away from this game, but I think this is a prime segue for everything else that's going on in this ridiculous-ass league right now in terms of players' health dropping like flies. What the hell do y'all want to say about that? Where do you want to start?
Dude, it's so rough. I don't know. I'm not going there right now because I know we'll end up there. But I'll start out in the West. With Utah. You have Donovan Mitchell playing hurt, and then also you have Mike Conley out. And then Kawhi Leonard's hurt, and it's just I don't know. It's it sucks to see, and there's been back and forth about oh, this is the NBA's fault, but then other people have said oh, the players voted on this and they agreed to this type of season and the off season and all the days off and stuff. So there's a back and forth there. You have LeBron on Twitter talking about I knew this was gonna happen. I told y'all blah blah blah. Stuff. That type of stuff. Uh, but it's hard to come up with like a perfect scenario when the situation like becomes this tough, with COVID and all that. That's what set us on this path in the first place. And I mean, it hurts some of the play. I mean, I think that's safe to say. It definitely hurts some of the play. Like obviously on the Nets you have Harden. Uh, on the 76ers Hawks, you have Joel Embiid who's playing hurt, as you guys, will all, let
Wait,
me
Cal,
know.
can you say that one more time?
Uh, and on Utah, like I said earlier, Donovan Mitchell and I mean Mike Conley's not playing, but he's hurt, but he's been a great solid piece that they're obviously missing right now. And then the Clippers again, obviously just had a. I mean, if you watch the play where Kawhi got hurt, like it didn't even seem like anything serious, but the ceiling for his injury could be like potentially a torn ACL, which sucks.
Catastrophic.
Yeah,
It's considered a knee sprain at this time.
yeah. So I'm sure we'll get more information on that in the coming days. So we'll see how it turns out, but. It just sucks that it's gone down this road, like, and it just feels like it's been like this all season. Like Markelle Fultz tore his ACL earlier in the season, which I
Who knows where
remember.
the magic would have been if he hadn't torn that. But the reason that Robin was roasting or asking Kyle to repeat himself a second ago was because we've been texting during the week during big matchups and things like that, and the Sixers had an epic collapse, historic proportions. Ben Simmons not able to play. Joel Embiid coming out the gate with like 38 points or 29 points in the first half, and Hawks down by 20-something points in the third quarter, 19 points in the fourth, with a Lou Williams Magic City run.
Absolutely.
To cash in the points, the buckets of wings from him and Trae Young. And after it's over, I'm ranting, I'm raving with people that I know, talking about Doc Rivers did this. This is wrong. Their structure with their lineups is messed up, and people are talking about Ben Simmons need to hit free throws, and then Kyle off the top rope. I don't think Embiid is injured. He had a lot of points. The box score says that he's okay.
Okay,
my God. I couldn't believe it.
First of all, I'll say that I definitely worded that wrong. He is, hurt, obviously, but I watched that game. I watched the second half of that game. Joel Embiid is still being physical. He's running up and down the court fine. There's at one point, I can't remember if it was in the third or the fourth quarter, like Trae Young shot a floater and came down under Joel Embiid, and at that point he grabbed his knee a little bit, but he continued playing the game. But the reason why I said he's not hurt, I mean, I kind of mean that in a relative sense, like he's not like in like serious pain like all the time. Like he's still be out there being physical. He's drawing a bunch of fouls. Like late in that game, he was drawing fouls, even though he choked two of them that would have tied the game. Uh, there, he's still being physical, boxing out. Like I haven't seen him physically like shy away. I mean, I guess like he did settle for jump shots a little more often. Uh, uh, and that's in that second half a little bit. But other than that,
Kyle, are you saying that if he was not suffering from a meniscus injury,
he still played
of some
good?
kind? Right. But are you saying that if he had no pain in his meniscus from a partial tear, that it wouldn't change the fact that he is literally not scoring in the second half the way that he is in the first half in consecutive games in this lengthening series?
I mean, yeah, I think so. Like, I think part of why he's not scoring as much is because Doc is going like not running the same actions that was working in the first half. Like in the first half, there was lots of dribble handoffs and high screen and rolls with Joel Embiid and Seth Curry. Seth Curry was playing amazing, and they would end up either Joel Embiid on the left block or you know there's been analysis, breakdowns of this, going on, but they didn't do that in the second half. They weren't going to what was working in the first half, and that plays into why he didn't play it as well in the second half. So, yeah, it's partially he's playing through pain, but what I meant by that is like he's not playing in a serious enough pain where like it significantly hinders his ability to play basketball. He is playing basketball through his injury. He is playing basketball really well. And also, like I was saying, I also watched a video about meniscus injuries, particularly his meniscus injury. So I'm doing this to defend myself. You guys were coming at me. You guys think I'm crazy.
Kyle,
I'm defending myself.
Have you had his injury?
No, I haven't. Have y'all had his injury?
No, but so how do you know if he can still play without pain?
I'm not saying.
Kyle's saying he's playing through pain. All I'm saying is he'd probably have more favorable results if there wasn't pain in the meniscus.
Well,
and the reason that I'm saying that is to lament the fact that these teams have played so many games in this shortened time period, for money, right? And it's because of COVID-19. And it's going to happen again this upcoming offseason. We're going to have basketball again in October, which I love as a spectator. But, if they could have trimmed the season down to 60 games, I don't think any players would really be complaining. The owners probably would. And of course, there'd be financial ramifications. But I don't think that would have tanked the league. And I think we'd be in a better place as far as injuries go, because would you guys be surprised if the Hawks won the championship as the healthiest team standing because they're all 22 years old? Would that surprise you?
That would surprise me, but I would view that as kind of a good surprise. I mean, I don't know. Is Atlanta a big market?
It's a major market in terms of the United States as far as metropolitan areas, but it's not top. I don't think 5 in the NBA.
NBA. No, it's a big city though.
But I would say that they're not the biggest market, but they're definitely a respectable size market who that can potentially grow to top 5 in the NBA probably. If they're good consistently. But I think that would be really badass to see them in the finals. I think it'd be badass to see them in the conference finals. Their team is they got such a style to them, and it's really cool to see. Every time I watch them, I keep comparing them to Dallas. For some reason, it's like my PTSD or something. It's like. I see Atlanta and I'm like, man, that's kind of what Dallas needs. Like Trae Young and Luka, they're both high usage players. They're creating offense for their teammates. It's just the difference between Dallas and Atlanta is Atlanta has a couple of guys that can get stuff going for you when or when Trae Young needs a little break, or even when Trae Young's on the court, during that comeback last game, there was that points when he was sitting in the corner and Lou Williams, he would run pick and roll with John Collins or Clint Capella or whoever, the rookie. I forgot his name because I can't pronounce it.
You talking about Kevin Huerter?
No. It starts with an O, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, Okongwu?
Yeah, Kongwu, yeah. He would run pick and roll with him, and it would end up in a floater, a jump shot, or a lob to him. So, compared to Dallas, they don't really have playmakers like Lou Williams, Gallinari, Bogdanovich. What?
Sorry, I was gonna say Bojan, but he's on the
Jazz. And John Collins. On Dallas, it's pretty much just Jalen Brunson, but he's undersized, and you could argue Tim Hardaway Jr., but he's so up and down, and he doesn't really have a dribble game like ISO like that. It's really just 3-and-D type guys. So that's just how I see those two teams.
Well, Thank you for taking us to Dallas. I think we're burying the lead here. We got to talk about the Dallas news too.
I didn't mean to go off that tangent. It was just a thought in my head.
Because Rick got fired today, so he had to defend the Mavs.
No, Rick didn't get fired, man.
No,
he stepped down. He stepped down.
Rick quit.
Yeah.
He said, "I'm out.
Like,
there are 5 other openings in the NBA, and I would rather be elsewhere." Like. Don't be surprised if he's in Boston next season. Don't be surprised if he's in Milwaukee next season. Ridiculous as Dallas, natives. It's a shock to our system. He's been around since 2008, I believe. 2009, I think.
2008, I think they said.
But what a shockwave. They change their president of basketball operations. Donnie Nelson and the Mavericks have agreed to part ways. They've got a quantitative basketball analytics, head honcho named Haralabos Vulgaris, otherwise known as Bob or Haralabob. We don't know if he's going to be sticking around the team, but that was a source of friction between Luka Doncic, Rick Carlisle, definitely between Donnie Nelson, not knowing where the decisions are being made, where the buck stops with Mark Cuban is who's got his ear. So we definitely don't have any inside sources in there other than Wojnarowski, Shams, who's everyone's source. But such a tumultuous week. Just 2.5 weeks ago, the Mavericks were up 2-0 on the Clippers, yelling too fucking small to Patrick Beverley, and here we are.
And here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
Pretty weird to see.
Playing for the Olympics or trying to qualify.
Where do you guys see this going in the coming months?
I need to read more into that. I tried to read into it, but all the articles that I've seen about the Dallas situation are like paywalled. So.
Kyle, you don't have an athletic subscription? I will send you the link. I got you.
I don't. Yeah, I'll look into that. But it's really weird and intriguing to me, like knowing that there was like friction in the front office and stuff like that. But hopefully, I just hope this means that Dallas will get better, like make better moves in the offseason, make more groundbreaking, more aggressive moves this coming off season, or the next couple of off seasons or whatever. We'll just see how it plays out. Hopefully this is for the better.
So Robin, you would agree that the worst possible scenario for Dallas fans is that Luka Doncic doesn't sign his extension, right? Robin?
Yes.
It would be. But the rumors are that he's going to sign it. So that's good. So if that happens, then I think people can agree it's only up from here, right? Yeah, it can't get any worse.
And sometimes all you need is a fresh face in there. You need some fresh ideas.
A little shakeup. So crazy. Okay, well, we will not lament this any longer. The Suns are waiting with bated breath to see who makes it out of the Clippers Jazz knockdown drag out series. Donovan Mitchell has that knee/ankle injury. We don't know what's happening with Kawhi Leonard, but he hasn't been ruled out for sure, because I looked into an injury myself. This is just a reporting. They were unable to at first analyze his ACL injury or suspected ACL injury because the swelling was too great to actually get any imaging done. But when you pull someone's knee forward, it's stopping because your ACL is intact. And if it's not, your knee comes forward more than it should. And that's the manual test to see if there's a tear. So we would have had reporting on that by now if that were to be the case, which is why I think it was downgraded to a knee sprain at the moment. But I wouldn't hold out hope for him to hit the Jazz appearance in this round.
Not the Jazz, definitely. I don't think the Jazz. I think maybe the Suns if they advance.
But like I said, if they advance, and like I said, the Suns are waiting with bated breath because Chris Paul is in COVID protocol. Seems to be positive for COVID-19, even though he's gotten the vaccination, which suppresses symptoms. If he doesn't show symptoms, then he has a chance of getting back a lot sooner than if he does show, of course. And then on the other side, we've already lamented and lampooned the Sixers and the Hawks. We've been grilling the Bucks and the Nets for a whole, hour now. So that's kind of the picture, and we hope to see what exciting fireworks come out of it up until this next Thursday.
Quick question for you guys. I mean, I just want to get your predictions. Who do you think is winning the Hawks 76ers series?
Oh God, don't make me. Robin, you first.
The Sixers.
You think?
The Sixers. I mean, they had that good lead. I think they can do it again at Atlanta. I think Game 6 is gonna be tough, but I think if they get that dub, I think they're gonna bring a dub home at home for Game 7. But I think they're gonna be up big again. I think this time they're gonna close it out, and I think that energy is gonna carry over to Game 7. I think when you choke a lead and then you have another big lead and you secure it like Milwaukee did tonight, I think it carries over to that next game, whether you're at home or away. You had 2 good leads. You choked one. That's on you. You secured the second one. Just do it again, which is harder than it sounds, but have confidence.
I'm going to stick with Robin. Robin and I don't always agree, but we agree this time. I'm riding with trusting the process here.
So am I.
I'm gonna go balls to the wall. I'm just gonna say the Hawks because I think it would be really sick for them.
Trey's celebrations are too cold, bro.
I know him, Bogdanovich, John Collins. They all fucking nice with it. That's what I like to see. Like they've beaten the 2 teams, or I mean, they're potentially about to beat the 76ers, but both of those crowds are really tough, and they've been able to silence them consistently. Like it's so much. It's so cool to watch. Like they're so young, but they're playing so unafraid.
Well, what's left? I guess tell people where they can listen to us, right?
Go ahead, Kyle.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Shotcallers Show, like it says right there at the bottom of the screen. You can listen to us on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment, hit the notification bell so you don't miss our uploads. You can also find us on virtually everywhere. You can find podcasts: Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Breaker, and Pocket Casts.
Wow.
I streamlined it. A lot better. Leave us a rating. That helps us a lot. Gets us more exposure. Tell your friends. Share us on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. All that
interact
stuff.
with us.
Yeah, interact with us. We're on it.
You'll see some questionable retweets. Yeah, you'll see some questionable retweets. Just know that is Kyle.
If it's questionable, it's Kyle, and you can grill him. You have permission.
Go ahead. I'll join in. I will join in. I'll help you out.
From your personal account. Just start roasting Kyle.
For my burner.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Squire Sultan, the infamous the KD burner.
Oh, man.
But yeah, all that stuff goes a long way. Just trying to grow, Thank you guys for watching.
All right, we out.